As the hills of West Virginia resound with the sound of Golden Blue football.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Now let's bring on the Mountaineers. Goes around about the 15 to 10 to 5. A touchdown, West Virginia. He did it.
He did it. Patrick White. Touchdown, Tay Von Austin.
The Don Nehlen's Mountaineers enjoy walking in where angels fear to tread.
I think you think that these guys are going to fall over dead for you. Well, I got news for you. They're going to punch you right in the mouth. It's Mountaineer pride!
Nothing cheap, nothing dirty, but West Virginia football. West Virginia football.
We've no doubt tonight they shouldn't have played the old Golden Blue. Not this night!
They've done it. They've done it. A perfect season. And the Mountaineers, for the first time in history, undefeated and untied.
Don Nehlen and his Mountaineers, for the second time, have finished a regular season with an unblemished mark.
Ain't no stopping the Golden Blue.
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome into another live stream here. Game week live stream on the Country Roads webcast channel, as we've done every week throughout the season, and we'll continue to do ahead of WVU football games. This one coming, of course, ahead of the game against Cincinnati. The Mountaineers coming off a bye to take on the Bearcats with a new defensive coordinator. Hopefully you've heard our predictions, which you can find on any podcast platform or, of course, video version here on YouTube. And this is always your chance to, share your predictions for Saturday with us in the chat there. And we'll talk a little bit about what you guys want to talk about throughout the stream, as is always the case. But joining me, of course, my co-host, Steven. What's going on tonight, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? How y'all doing?
Another good night, another fun night to talk some WVU football and some WVU sports in general, really. We're going to get into, of course, the uniform reveal, as we always do on these. We got a cinematic recap video to look back on from the win over Arizona, since we didn't get a chance to do a stream last week with it being a bye week. But what we wanted to start off with, really, was how about some WVU basketball talk? We haven't really been doing, any videos or podcasts this year just specifically dedicated to basketball, but we figured we'll throw it into our live stream some where we can chat a little basketball, especially now where we have these last few weeks where the two sports are coinciding. Gives us a good time to talk about it each week. And so right now, WVU obviously 1-0 after the win on Monday. Got another game coming up tomorrow night, but just want to look back at that win over Robert Morris from the first game there. See West Virginia 55% from the field, held Robert Morris to 32%. 3-point percentage, the Mountaineers shot 41%. Free throw percentage, not the best, down at 58. Got out rebounded by 4, but kind of figured that would be the case. This team playing a little bit of small ball, but 16 assists, and they forced 13 turnovers and had 25 points off turnovers, 12 fast break points for the Mountaineers. And then, of course, individually, pretty well-rounded effort from the WVU basketball squad there. Obviously, all new faces involved, as the only player that returned, Ofri Neve, is actually redshirting this year. So really all new faces you'll see playing WVU basketball this year. But some of those from game one that stood out, obviously Tucker DeVries, as expected. Big game there, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and a blocked shot. Got off to the hot start there, 8-0 run of his own to begin the game. Sincere Harris just looks like a lockdown defender, had 3 blocks in the game, 1 steal, and he's the type of guy that I think can guard the opponent's best player every night. Hansberry, the big man, close to a double-double, 9 points, 12 rebounds. Javon Small looks great, the point guard transferring in from Oklahoma State, 15 points, and, of course, 5 assists to go along with that. And then Toby Oconee, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal, and probably the highlight of the game with the alley-oop lob there as far as the numbers from the starters. Then you had some good bench scoring as well, mainly from your 2 true freshmen, KJ Tenner at point guard, and then Jonathan Powell, who's arguably, I think, going to be one of the better shooters on this team. But, Steven, talk a little bit about that first game and a little bit about your thoughts of the start of the Darren DeVries era.
So far, I'm impressed, really. I don't think that, we're obviously not going to go undefeated or anything like that, but I think, for what we went through as a fan base last year and, and the team, the product that we've seen on the court, I don't know, that was a really fun team to watch on Monday night. I mean, all around, they came out and immediately started hitting shots consistently. They were taking smart shots, playing good defense, not turning the ball over needlessly. So I'm happy with what I've seen.
I agree.
I think that they're going to be a contender in the. I don't know. I don't want to say contender in the Big 12 conference, but they're going to be competitive.
Yeah, the Big 12 is just so. I mean, toughest conference in basketball, bar none. I think, especially now with the new additions. But that's the other positive side of that though, is being in the tough Big 12. This team finds a way to win 17, 18 regular season games. They've got a chance to be an NCAA tournament team, and I think with what we saw on Monday, as you mentioned there, this team shows the capability of me that they could very well be a tournament team. I like the pieces,
absolutely.
and I like the style of play, as you mentioned, is what's most exciting to me about this team is just seeing the change up to a different kind of style, getting up and down the floor. Like you said, it's just more exciting and fun to watch.
Well, you have players that you mentioned all new faces for WVU, but those players have played in the NCAA tournament. They have that experience. Tucker DeFreeze and his dad just coached Drake in an NCAA tournament last year. So and a lot of guys
in mind, I think this
also
season,
played.
he's never won less than 20 games as a coach. So that's the bar we're looking for. And if we get to 20, that'd be massive. Yeah. I don't know if we'll get there in year one, but if so, then that's a heck of a job for him in year one.
I mean, I'm not discrediting any of the other leagues or opponents that he's played in the past, but the Big 12 conference is absolutely a different animal when it comes to college basketball. So
yeah, whole different animal. But West Virginia off to a good start already, 1-0 as far as the Mountaineers men's hoops team is concerned, and just as far as what they got upcoming schedule wise, as they try and get off to a nice start to the season. As we mentioned, the Big 12 is really tough, so you want to try and do your best in non-con there, get off to a good winning record through non-conference play at least. And with what West Virginia has upcoming, they have a chance to do that at least somewhat. Next up, UMass tomorrow night, as we mentioned, ESPN Plus at 7. Then you got the Backyard Brawl basketball version on the 15th there at Pitt at 8 o'clock p.m. Then you got Iona, and then you go to Gonzaga. I believe that's in the tournament there on November 27th, where you'll probably play a couple of games.
Battle for Atlantis, I believe.
Yeah, so you got a handful of games here, about 3 more. I mean, the Pitt game's no easy contest either, obviously, but over the next 3, you really need to try and find yourself and mold yourself, because playing Gonzaga is going to be no joke there that early in the season.
Absolutely not. Well, I mean, we've played them a few times at least early on in the past decade or so, and it's never been good for WVU in any of them. So hopefully we can come and at least play a competitive ball game to where we're in it late to have a chance to win it.
Yeah, gotta hope so. Gotta hope so.
Always
Gonzaga very good. Then West Virginia rounds out the non-con slate before start getting to those Big 12 conference games with Georgetown on December 6th, NC Central on December 10th, Bethune on December 14th, and Mercyhurst on December 22nd. So you do have some Power 5 opponents mixed in there, but for the most part, games that are winnable for West Virginia through non-con. So that should be a good sign with what they put on the court Monday. We'll see how things turn out, but excited, man. Excited. Any other thoughts on basketball before we transition over to the football side? Talk a little bit about the Cincinnati game after we maybe take a look at some uniforms, things like that. But any other thoughts on basketball?
No, man, I'm just excited to watch them play, man. We got potentially at least 2 guys that could play in the NBA later on, in Tucker DeVries and Javon Small. So
yeah, I agree with that.
Just really excited to watch this team play.
I think so, man. And I think, to me, they already look like they have better chemistry than I expected them to, this early in the season. So that's a good sign for, the future. And hopefully positive.
They look like a team that have been played. I mean, I'm not trying to read too much into it because it's Robert Morris. No disrespect to them, but, like it's not the best competition whenever you're going to be playing teams like you are in the Big 12 conference. But I thought for the most part they played very smooth, like chemistry wise. I mean, it looked like a team that had been playing together for a long time. I mean, so
yeah, I was
took a
impressed.
breeze right after the opening tip off, just effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Up to 3.
8 in a row, just real quick.
And I mean, for the first time in a long time, I mean, you felt comfortable watching the offense play for this team, and that's not been the case for a while.
I mean, knock on wood, hopefully it remains the case, but there were no multi-minute scoring droughts like we've had to deal with, usually over the past, few years or whatever. So definitely going to be a different style on offense and hopefully a more efficient offense, it seems like. And I think West Virginia is going to make up for, playing a little small ball, being a little bit undersized with the 3-point shot on the offensive side. Seems like it's going to be a weapon for them.
Yeah, it seems like it. Tucker DeVries is a dog. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. I'm excited to watch that guy this year. So we'll try and talk more WVU basketball throughout the year. We'll do some live streams where we talk about it on occasion. But for the most part, we keep it WVU football related here. But, of course, basketball season underway. Wanted to cut out a little segment here to talk about it. And I see Timothy Green, channel member here, sharing his prediction for the game. West Virginia 31, Cincinnati 21. He's got the Mountaineers getting the win. And James Weekly, his score predictions always make me laugh. 1 billion, 2 million, 5 for WVU, and Cincinnati at negative 1 million, I think there looks like as well. Thanks, James. Always appreciate you, man. Appreciate you sharing the live as well.
Absolutely,
nice
man.
to see that. So definitely talked a little bit about that. We want to transition over now, talk a little bit about Cincinnati. But before we do that, as I mentioned, we got to go back to the Arizona game. We didn't get to have a chance to talk last week with West Virginia being on a bye week, so didn't get a chance to share the cinematic recap. Always like to share these after WVU wins in the live stream. This one's a little bit longer. I think it's about 7 or 8 minutes long, so just enjoy the video, guys. We'll be back in about 7 to 8 minutes, and we'll continue on with the stream.
Welcome to Tucson, Arizona, where the ground is dry and the sun is hot. The Mountaineer football team has left behind the amazing palette of colorfully changing leaves back home for the cactus and palm trees of the desert Southwest. An over 2,000-mile jaunt, the farthest it's ever traveled to play a conference game. This incredibly physical game has sent key performers to the sidelines for both teams. Multiple starters out, reserve players in. The next man up philosophy will be on full display and will ultimately determine today's game. So settle in and come along as we paint the desert picture of Mountaineers and Wildcats in an inaugural Big 12 encounter.
All right, it's time to get back in the W column, all right? Let's have a happy-ass flight home, man. It starts with you guys, man. Play the game the right way today. Strain your ass off. Earn the right for a happy flight on the way home. Everybody understand that? So, let me count 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's get this done, man. Here we go. Hey, win on 2. 1, 2, 3. You're in the arena. You're in the arena, man. You're best. You're best. Fight your ass off, and I promise you, you'll like the damn result.
And here it comes. From Weirton to Welch, Martinsburg to Matewan, and all points in between. This is West Virginia University football.
Here we go.
West Virginia won the toss. They will receive. And we're underway here in Tucson. Markiel to pass. On a quick slant, they'll get the first down and more into plus territory. It's Justin Robinson from the 35. High snap, handoff Donaldson. First down across the 30. Field goal attempt here on the way and good for Michael Hayes. We expect them to get the ball to Tedero McMillan quite a bit on second down. And Fafita to pass, drops back, fires, caught at midfield. It is McMillan. Stop cut, moves back to his left, spin move across the 40. That is the talent. Another handoff for Conley, who slips the initial tackle. The ball came out.
Yeah, it came out as soon as he got hit.
Garnett Hollis comes away with it. Formation. Play action from Markiel. He'll pass, and it's caught at midfield. Traylon Ray. 5-man rush, and a quick hitter with Gallagher across the middle, and a first down all the way down to the Arizona 31. Markiel, play action, drifting back, It's his check down, and the tight end, Cole Taylor, who's knocked out of bounds.
Watch the legs of Markiol here.
And he tried to step up and couldn't get away. Another drive with glimpses. And they're going to fake the field goal. It'll be taken for a first down and a touchdown. Leighton Bechtel, the holder. West Virginia fakes him out for 6.
Yo, boys! Oh, sir.
Kendrick Grisano eating the backfield. Oh boy, he got buried across the 40. Feels strongly about the culture of this team. Now McMillan thought about it. And he will. Let's see where this was. He was behind the line of scrimmage. Fafita. Hoodie flapping in the wind. Handoff for Conley and a touchdown for Arizona.
Pretty soft in that zone.
Off the sweep, it's White rounding the corner. First down and more in Arizona territory. Can he be caught? He's ripped down inside them, and they come up with the stop. There we go, 4th down and goal. Markiol receives the snap with one hand, fires, end zone, Clement, touchdown! On 4th and goal, West Virginia scores, and the Mountaineers extend the lead.
Come on, man.
And that'll take us to the end of the first half. So West Virginia out to a 17-7 lead over Arizona as the Mountaineers look to get back to 500.
It's our game, guys. Like, it's our game. We got to take it. We got to go take it. Finish. All right? Finish on 3. Finish on me. 1, 2, 3, finish.
We'll see. Arizona was 7 points last week. And this gets blown up. Zay Jennings says hello to Jeremiah Pass.
We got to take advantage of it.
Fafita in trouble. He is sacked back at the 5-yard line. It's TJ Jackson on the sack. Handoff, and Conley goes nowhere. Some key players. Just a flat effort overall. Barely get this punt away. Salgado Medina and a short one that skips out of bounds. 4th down and 3. Blitz comes. Markiol, quick hitter on the slant. He completes it for the first down. Justin Robinson's first. Markiol facing a 3-man front. Steps up in the pocket. Tucks and runs. Tripped up across the 20. Will that be enough? It'll be 4th down. Huge moment of the game here for Arizona. Low snap. Markiol, hand up. Donaldson will not be caught. Touchdown, West Virginia. On another 4th down conversion.
Boom. You just don't go untouched on 4th and 1.
Ridgely from Hawaii. And here is a wide open completion for the touchdown. Sam Olsen, no flags. Much needed score from Arizona. As the Wildcats claw some of this deficit back. And Arizona's defense step up here once again against Markiol. The pass caught across the 40-yard line. That's a big one. Hudson Clement on the conversion. And West Virginia moves the sticks.
After a few of those runs.
Markiol with time. Takes a shot downfield. It's caught by Ray. Staying on his feet. It's a touchdown for West Virginia. 54 yards for the Mountaineers and a huge response.
Oh, man, scoring.
Whoa, Fafita nearly threw that one away. Fafita, sidearm delivery, hits his target along the near side, but the West Virginia defense is there.
Manageable for a 4th down.
Pick up the blitz. Fafita launches to the end zone. McMillan has the touchdown. His first since week 1. Virginia has been in control for most of this game. Goes down. Fafita, end zone, incomplete.
And you walk in.
Here's Fafita with some daylight. Pumps, cuts to the goal line. Got it. Touchdown, Arizona. This is where they have to put the pedal to the metal and close this one out with 4:35 to go.
High percentage throws.
Markiol steps up in the pocket. And that is a high percentage throw. A third down upcoming for West Virginia.
A big third down.
Marchiol tried to do just that. Swings it to the outside. It's caught. It's a first down. Jalen Anderson's first touch of the game moves the sticks.
Hey, that's big Otto, not the little Otto. I'm telling you.
Otto, that man.
The West Virginia University Mountaineers come to the desert Southwest, will leave Tucson with a much-needed 31-26 victory.
Great job. Great job. We'll let Nico get up here. 1, 2, 3, West Virginia, West Virginia, the pride of every Mountaineer. Come on, you old rats, you young lads, West Virginia, now we cheer. Rah, 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 time for us to make a big noise, no matter what the people say. There's not to fear, the game's all here, so hail West Virginia,
So there you have it. Another good job by the West Virginia media team, as always, with another cinematic recap after a West Virginia victory. And hopefully we get to watch a few more of those moving forward on the season. Hopefully we get some more wins and get some more of those recaps.
Well, not sure where he went. Sorry about that. Yeah, but yeah. Hopefully we get some more of the recap videos on the way. What happened there, Cruz?
Studio, man. I think I hit the side button on my mouse and it must have hit the back button on the when I did it. And I was like, what happened? And then I was like, oh, I could pop back into the studio, kicked me out of the whole studio. But
caught me off guard.
Yeah, me too. I was still talking and I'm like, oh, wait, I'm not even on the screen. But yeah, another good job there by the media team for sure. Yeah, Nico was 18-22, Eric. 82 or 81% completion rating, I think it was. So one of the highest in quite some time. As I see Eric shares his prediction as well. Encourage anyone in here, share your predictions for WVU's game against Cincinnati coming up less than 48 hours from now. As Eric says, Nico will win this game for us. He's got West Virginia 28-21 over Cincinnati. Appreciate you as always, Eric, man. But yeah,
I think Nico's been he's proven that he's a winner throughout his entire football career. So
absolutely, couldn't agree more with that.
So I think he might have a point. I love the way Nico plays too. Like I want to say he's a pure passer, but he can also run the ball and improvise on a play when he needs to. I'm excited.
He's a strong runner as far as he's not going to break the 50-yard runs like Garrett, but he can get you 10, 20 yards, and he's shown that for sure. He's got that ability.
Absolutely.
We're going to touch on some.
He runs like Cam Newton.
Yeah, I can see. I always compare him to Tebow. I think it's because where he's left-handed. That's who he reminds me of. But similar style to that, more of that power running style. But we're gonna get to the jersey for the upcoming game, the uniform reveal and stuff here in a minute. But before we start talking a little bit more about Cincinnati, I did have some news I wanted to touch on here. A couple tidbits. One that we can talk about here that's pretty significant as far as future scheduling is concerned. West Virginia was scheduled with a game on the road at East Carolina in 2026, but they were able to buy that out and instead now have replaced it with a 2-game series with the Virginia Cavaliers. They'll be on that 2026 slate replacing East Carolina, and then they'll meet again in 2032, both games being at Bank of America Stadium there, the Panther Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. Steven, thoughts on adding the Virginia Cavaliers to the schedule?
Selfishly, like I like the move for for the financial and logistics side of it. I think it only makes sense that we went and did this. But on the flip side, selfishly, I was planning on attending that East Carolina game, which I'll probably attend this one as well. But I don't know. I was excited for that. But I do like I like the matchup, I guess. We'd never really played UVA other than I forget, was it the Motor City Bowl in the
bowl game?
2001?
Yeah, say 102 something like that, I think.
Something like that. 2003 maybe. I can't remember exactly. They beat us then. But other than that, I mean, for them to be in such close proximity to WVU, we've never really, played them that much. So I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I've seen some pushback on and is the fact that they've complained a lot about the 11 Power Fives, and then they go take off, a group of 5 and replace it with the Power 5 in 2026. So we'll be playing 11 Power 5s in 2026 again, which I understand why people like on the surface, see that. But, no offense to Virginia, but I mean, are them and East Carolina really that much different as far as opponent quality? I know Virginia's in the ACC, so it's technically a Power 5 game, Power 4 game, whatever it is now.
Right.
But I think that for, West Virginia's purposes, they don't want to go play a road game at East Carolina. They'd rather, do a series with someone that's more beneficial for them. I heard Neil Brown talk about it on the radio show tonight. He said there was really no benefit for them going to play on the road at East Carolina. So, now you replace it with a neutral site game that a lot of Mountaineer fans can attend. We always get good turnouts when we play in Charlotte. So I do like that aspect of it, even though you are playing, the 11 Power 5s again in 2026. I think it's still a much kinder schedule than it has been in previous years when you've had to do that.
Yeah, I mean, is the game going to be? I forget what it was called. Like it's got they've got the Chick-fil-A kickoff in Atlanta.
Isn't it the Dukes? I think it's the Dukes Mayo.
Is it the Dukes Mayo
I think
kickoff?
It's Dukes Mayo kickoff and the Dukes Mayo Bowl are both there, I think.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Well, is it going to be that? Because that's what it was when we played Tennessee.
It might be.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
That's interesting then. So you get potentially more network coverage. I mean, you would have to for, a game like that than you would for an ECU game, I would assume.
Yeah, I would think so.
So that's another plus side of it. But I mean, in terms of quality of opponent, you're right. I don't see that big of a difference between ECU and Virginia.
Yeah.
But you never know what could happen in, 2 years whenever we got to play them.
Right. Yeah. Who knows what could happen between the two programs by then. But, also I just think it's a good atmosphere. That game against Tennessee, it had a really good turnout. I didn't go myself, but just watching it on TV and stuff, looked like a really good turnout and a really good atmosphere. So hopefully it happens again there in Charlotte.
Yep, I'm going to try my best to attend it.
Yeah, let's do it. We should make it happen. Let's make it happen. Let's make a trip out of it, man.
Well, CRW trip. You guys heard it now.
Brad's already, down there in the States. So, I mean, we could have a CRW meetup there, man.
That's exactly right. We have to.
Yeah, we have to make it happen. You guys heard it here first. 2 years from now. Don Johnson, appreciate you as always, man. He's got the Mountaineers winning 31-24 over Cincinnati. I like it.
I don't know. I like Nico better than Will Greer. Myself.
James said he feels like Nico is a Will Greer. Yeah, I like Nico better personally too. No offense to Will Greer, but
here's my
Nico's a little bit more better for college, I think, because he can run a little bit.
I don't know. I don't dislike Will Greer. I want to precurse what I'm about to say by saying that. But with that being said, I mean, Will Greer had good moments here, but in terms of what he was touted to be, he had one game that lived up to that hype, and that was the Texas game when we beat him down there. And that was, I mean, don't get me wrong, that was a phenomenal throw, an all-time throw.
Yeah.
But he skipped the bowl game to focus on his NFL career, where I don't think that he's played one, maybe two series, if that, in an NFL uniform. And I don't know. That's
I don't know if I've seen him play outside of preseason, really, in regular season. I don't know if he has.
Same. I don't think so. And he's bounced around from different teams. With that being said, even if I hope he does get a shot. Hopefully, I don't wish anything bad on him. I still like him because I do think I respect his game, but I don't know. He was a lot more Hollywood than he should have been while he was here.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, like you mentioned about that bowl game, I think that left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths as well. I think if that wouldn't have happened, he'd probably be remembered more fondly by, the majority of the fan base, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't mean, like I said, I don't mean I didn't like him as our quarterback. I really did. And I thought that him and, David Seals has a great, and Gary Jennings had great chemistry and they were fun to watch. But
agreed.
I don't know.
That offense was fun to watch. I mean, I do got to give him that for sure.
Yeah.
I think it also, it still hurts the fact that they should have been in the Big 12 title game, man. All they had to do was not blow that halftime lead against Oklahoma State, and they would have been there.
That's my thing. I was getting ready to say that the Oklahoma State game still is a really sour taste in my mouth, man. Like that's one that really gets to me even still to this day.
Yes, should have been in it that year, man.
An insurmountable lead, really, that shouldn't have been even touched. But
agreed. But
yeah,
what can you do? What can you do? Hopefully, we just get back to that point again. But moving on, got a couple other notes here. Piece of news here before we talk a little bit about the Cincinnati game. One of those being the game time announced for West Virginia's next game, which of course they'll return home, play another home game for the first time in about a month or so. Be making the trek to Morgantown on November 16th to watch the Mountaineers play at 4 p.m. against the Baylor Bears, and it's going to be on ESPN2. So wanted to share that piece of news there. And then other than that, just a couple of updates as far as awards are concerned as we get close to award season, All-American teams, all of those things. One of those being Josiah Trotter, Sean Alexander Freshman of the Year Award, a semifinalist for that, and very well so as he's leading the Mountaineers in tackles currently and having one of the better seasons of any Big 12 linebacker, really. He's got a chance maybe at Freshman All-American honors. We'll see how it turns out. But speaking of All-American honors, that perfectly segues into the other piece of news that I had, and that being Wyatt Milam being on the watch teams, at the midseason All-American watch teams for the first team of CBS Sports, of PFF, multiple sources there, second team of AP and the New York Times, and then honorable mention with Sports Illustrated. So seems like an inevitable conclusion that Wyatt Milam's going to end up on some All-American teams. Just going to hope and see if he ends up securing that, ever elusive consensus All-American status, but think he will definitely be an All-American in some capacity at the season's end. And of course, going right along with that, that leads us into a little bit of injury update as we'll transition and talk a little bit about Cincinnati here, Stephen. Wyatt Milam is going to be back. He's going to be back for this game. Garrett Green, Neil Brown termed him again as doubtful tonight, but said he is making the trip this time. Last time, he was out, he didn't make the trip, so he will be with the team this time on the road, but doubtful. But seems like he may be getting closer to where he could potentially play. We'll see what happens with that. Aubrey Burks remains out. Aiden Garnes remains out. And Neil Brown said they're going to find out in the coming days if both of those are actually going to be season ending and they'll be out for the remainder of the year or not. So KK Tarnu going to have to step up. Dantes Fagan going to have to step up at the cornerback position. But CJ Donaldson good to go. Jaden Bray still out for about another week, but may get him back next week as far as injury updates are concerned. But other than that, we'll cover some uniforms as far as the reveal for the game, Stephen. But any thoughts you have on the Cincinnati game that you wanted to throw out here?
No, I'm excited to see him up there, man. It's been a long time since we've played up there at Nippert Stadium, so I'm excited to see how we handle it.
It has been a long time, man.
Like I said, excited to watch Nico play. Well, I don't know. I don't want to say hopefully, but I don't know. If Gigi's able to go, then excited to watch him. But if Nico's able to go, excited to watch him.
Yeah. I think that that's a good thing, and I hope that we're able to keep the streak going for Nico, undefeated as a starter, and hopefully he can just keep that rolling, man. That's something we want to keep rolling. So definitely something to look forward to. But also, one thing we always got to talk about here in these game week streams is the uniforms for the upcoming week. So we're going to go ahead and share the university's uniform reveal here. If you're watching this on the playback, it may not have sound to it because they do use some music with this one. So sometimes I have to edit that out in the playback. But hey, that's just a bonus that you get for tuning in live, as you get to hear it as it's initially intended here. But the university's reveal video this week for the game against Cincinnati. So there you see West Virginia going with the blue, white, gold look. They're heading into Cincinnati as the Bearcats will be wearing all black for the game, but WVU going with, one of the classic looks, the blue, white, and gold look. What's your thoughts there, Stephen?
I like it. You know, we haven't won this combo yet this year. It's a really traditional combo. So,
yeah, excited to see it. Excited to see it. First time seeing it in the new uniform set. So hopefully, going to be a good look. But as you said, definitely a traditional set, as we always like to share from WU Uniforms 304 here, his post, kind of sharing our record and win percentage in the uniforms after the uniform reveal. But the blue, white, gold is the second most worn uniform combination in WVU history. The most worn away combo, worn 127 times. And, West Virginia actually has a really good record in these, especially for it being an away combo. A lot of times your away combo is going to have losing records. But West Virginia nearly has won 50% of the games in these. 63 and 64, last worn at Penn State in 2023. But definitely, I'm a fan of this look. I like anything that incorporates even a little bit of gold. So I like that we're going with the gold pants, but definitely West Virginia going blue, white, gold this week against Cincinnati. And then the last little thing I had as far as the uniforms were concerned was Shackalicious, which is another good account to follow on X for uniform content and such. Sharing a little picture from the College Football 25 video game for the uniform preview there. Cincinnati going to be in the all black, West Virginia, of course, in the blue, white, gold, as we discussed, and kind of a preview there in virtual form, how it may look. And then we can see the real thing here in less than 48 hours as these two old Big East opponents get set to clash now as Big 12 conference opponents. But that's pretty much what I had as far as news, notes, uniform reveal. Wanted to talk a little basketball, and then, of course, talk a little bit about the Cincinnati game and get some of your all's predictions there. As I appreciate you guys that have shared them. And, of course, if you tuned into this live or if you watched it on a playback, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. That helps us tell with the YouTube algorithm. And subscribe here for future Mountaineer football content, including the watch-along stream Stephen and I will be doing on Saturday for the game. We've been doing those throughout this year for away games. We'll do that again on Saturday. The game kicks off at noon, so we'll probably be live about 11:55. We'll have the game on our TV, turn it on your end. We'll chat about it. And, of course, me and Steven will provide a little play-by-play for you guys as well in case you're tuning into the stream and not getting a chance to watch the game. But that'll be a lot of fun on Saturday. But, Steven, any other thoughts on the game, WVU basketball, WVU football, anything you want to throw in here before we get set to wrap up here? I got one more little thing, but it's more national college football related than WVU. So anything else on the Mountaineers that we didn't touch on that you wanted to throw in here in this week's live stream?
No, I'm for the most part of this season in football, we really obviously it's not been the most optimistic, outlook on things for the most part of this fan base. But, for the most part right now, going into this week, people are optimistic about the Cincinnati game and people are optimistic about basketball with the way they played on Monday. So it's exciting. It's, at least for the moment, to be a WVU fan. And then shout out to not the basketball team. Yeah, shout out to the basketball team too. But I was going to say the men's soccer team for beating Marshall in the Sun Belt Conference Championship the other day.
Yeah, definitely they deserve a shout out as well. They're doing big things. One of the top soccer programs in the nation past couple of seasons to continue that again, winning a conference title this year. So shout out to them. They deserve that for sure, but I do agree. This is that one exciting time, or that exciting next few weeks where you still got football. You're ending, but basketball is rolling as well, so you kind of get a chance to take in double the WVU sports plus the extra stuff. The soccer, of course, the women's basketball team is going to have a big year as well. A lot of WVU sports to dive into right now. So if you're a Mountaineer fan, it is a great time to be able to tune into some Mountaineer content right now for sure. And excited about the basketball team. And I think the football team, man, has a really good opportunity in these Final Four games to still close out very strong, have a great season, a lot better than I think we all felt like we were having here at this midpoint. And so hopefully these Final Four games, they're able to do that and close out strong. But got to start it off with, a game against Cincinnati, a team with a current winning record, and go on the road and try and beat them. And I think it's going to be a fun game and looking forward to it on Saturday and excited to do the watch along with you guys here on the channel as well. So hope you guys come back for that on Saturday. Stephen and I will be talking about the game as it progresses. But the other thing that I had, Stephen, was, of course, this week was the reveal for the first time ever of, what would be the 12-team college football playoff bracket if the season ended today, as the college football playoff rankings debuted this week. And the current top 12, of course, you can see here on the screen, and these would be the matchups Like I said, if the season ended today, BYU would lock down one of the top 4 seeds there as the Big 12 champion at number 4, Miami at number 3, Georgia at 2, and Oregon at 1. They would have the first round byes in the college football playoff. And then your first round matchups would be Boise State traveling on the road to play Ohio State, Indiana playing on the road at Tennessee, Alabama playing on the road at Texas, Notre Dame playing on the road at Penn State. So, Stephen, any thoughts on the initial playoff rankings? Anybody get hosed? Anything that you don't agree with, or do you think pretty straightforward overall?
Overall, I agree with them. I think they all make sense. Notre Dame, I think, is a little shaky being in there for myself. Other than that, for the most part, I would agree with them.
Yeah, I think for the most part right now, this is just kind of judging by how things stand, especially after how things shook out last week in the Big 12. I would have been interested to see what the rankings looked like had Kansas State or Iowa State either one not lost, and see if the Big 12 would have had 2 in there at that point. I think now, if you want to get 2 in, you're probably going to have BYU remain undefeated, and one of the other teams have 1 loss and then beat them in the conference title game. Would be about the only way.
I would flip Miami and BYU.
Yeah, I'd agree with that also. I think personally, man, just the way I've been seeing it this season, Miami, they're gonna drop a game soon. I think they've been so close past few weeks. They had to come from behind last week against Duke. A couple weeks ago against that, same thing against Cal, and Virginia Tech really did beat them in my book. I mean, they caught that Hail Mary and then they had that crazy overturn. So I don't know, Miami. I'm just not sold on Miami quite yet, but I'm sure that there's other teams you could say that about. But that's just one that stuck out to me.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. I mean, they've got talented players. I'm not saying that, but I think you're right. I think they've played in a lot more close battles than BYU has. BYU's really, kind of.
Yeah, they've kind of
cruised off of almost everybody they've played.
Yeah.
So I would absolutely flip them.
Yeah, I agree. Plus, BYU also beat SMU, who I think is ranked like 13th or 14th right now, and that's SMU's only loss of the year. And the SMU's looking like that they may be the competitor there with Miami in the ACC. So, that should move BYU up another rung, in my opinion, as well. But I do agree with you on Notre Dame. I don't think they'll be there when it's all said and done. But I'm interested to see if it ends up being as it is now with mainly Big Ten and SEC, or if the ACC and Big 12 are able to sneak a second team in there, either one.
Well, that's my fear is if it's not Notre Dame, then it's probably. I mean, would it be another Big Ten or SEC team? I mean, you've already got a 4 SEC team playoff in here. I mean, 4 SEC teams. Think about that for a second. Like 4 SEC teams. That's literally that would complete the entire bracket of what the previous format was.
Yep, 3 Big Ten teams as well.
I don't know. 4 is a bit much. I could see 3.
Yeah, 3. I think 3 from the Big Ten and the SEC. You can kind of almost expect that. That's there. I mean, those 2 conferences are really strong. I could see 3 from each, but when you get into 4 or 5, stuff like that, that's when it's a bit excessive for me. But also, then it's dependent on the ACC and the Big 12 to try and get a second team in there. But, the problem is that they're so competitive that sometimes you eat each other a little bit. Those teams cannibalize each other, especially in the Big 12 where, top to bottom, anyone can beat anyone. We saw the team in last place, Oklahoma State, give, BYU a game the other
But I mean, to that sentiment,
so
like they do that in the SEC and the Big 10 too, and they show them love for it.
I know.
And they give them credit for the close battles, whereas they punish us because, like, whoever loses, you know what I mean? Like, it's just the double standard is wild.
Yeah, the double standard is 100% true because, like you said, the SEC, that happens. And they're like, oh, man, such a tough conference. So many good teams. Big 12, they're like, nobody in this conference is any good. It's literally, and it's the same thing happening in both conferences. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And then you get to the playoff, and, I mean, sometimes we get beat, but sometimes, like TCU, went in there and went all the way to the national championship one year. You just never know.
You never do.
And I would put BYU up against Miami right now.
As would I. I think the BYU could surprise some people, when they get in there, because everybody's going to be overlooking them. So, and we're pro BYU on this show too as well. So, indeed.
Yes,
So
we are.
excited to see them with that 4 seed and that first round bye right now in the current college football playoff rankings. But wanted to talk about that briefly, as those, of course, did debut this week. But threw in a little bit of everything into this week's game week stream, little WVU basketball talk, of course, our usual, and then tried to talk a little bit about the national scene now with the college football rankings. But if you guys got any other predictions there, throw them in the chat as we get ready to close up shop this week on another game week stream. And like I said, we'll be back in just a couple of days to do the watch along for the game at noon against Cincinnati. We're looking forward to it. Know you guys all are as well. Be televised on Fox Sports 1 if you guys want to tune in with us. And of course, we'll be streaming, providing the play-by-play. But Steven, anything else, man? Of course, could be anything. We've talked a little bit about everything, so it don't have to necessarily be WVU related. But anything you got here before we close up?
No. That's all I got. I'm excited to watch the basketball team play tomorrow night against I think it's Iona. We got tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And then you obviously got the backyard
brawl.
It's
UMass.
UMass. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
UMass,
right.
Then the backyard brawl, then Iona, then
Yep.
Gonzaga. Gotcha.
I just had that schedule still pulled up on that tab and clicked over to it and seen it. But yeah, I'm excited too, man. And I was telling Steven before we started, which of course you guys know that I followed the CRW for a long time. I grew up a UNC basketball fan, so they've always been like my primary basketball team. Once I got into football, it's when I started liking WVU. So I do follow WVU basketball as well. But both UNC and WVU play at the same time tomorrow night, so I'm gonna have to flip back and forth. I'm going to be at work, so I'll be listening. But UNC and Kansas, that's going to be a interesting matchup. They've never really played a lot as far as non-con is concerned. When they've met, it's been in the tournament. So interesting game here, especially early in the season, see them meet up in non-con. So I'm definitely tuning into that one as well. But I'm excited to see what WVU does.
Fun one to watch.
UNC and Kansas will be good.
Yeah. I'm excited to see the Kansas game in Morgantown again this year. It's always a fun matchup if you're a Mountaineer fan. Even last year, the Josh Allard era, that obviously no secret that wasn't the funnest team to watch at times. And notice there was a lot of talented kids on that team. Just no disrespect to them at all. It just was, was what it was. But even that team, didn't we beat Kansas in Morgantown last year?
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's what I said. Even some of our bad teams have been able to get Kansas in Morgantown.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see that game, especially in Morgantown. But other than that, the Cincinnati games, those are going to be fun to watch. I think Houston's supposed to be pretty darn good again this year. So I think we can hopefully be a little bit more competitive in those games this year.
Yeah, I hope so, man. Just loaded Big 12 conference in basketball for sure. Absolutely. Kansas, as we were mentioning, Arizona now. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough conference, but West Virginia, if they can find their way to compete in it and get into that top half of the conference, they're probably going to be an NCAA tournament team. And once you get in the big dance, you never know what could happen. And I think the style the West Virginia now plays with Darren DeVries is a style that can win tournament games, hitting threes, getting up and down the floor.
Yeah,
definitely could be. So just got to get there first, but we got a long ways to go. Got just now getting into the season, but already talking tournament. Man, I love March Madness. I can't help but think about it once college basketball starts.
It's hard not to be optimistic about this team. I mean, they came out of the game hot the other night, 21-0 on them, really early in that game. For a brand new team, for a lot of these kids, I think we have one face returning and he redshirted.
So. And he's redshirting, so essentially no new pieces that we'll see this year.
Right. So I mean, that's not an easy thing to do, no matter who your opponent is. So I'm optimistic as it gets when it comes to what I think we could do this year. Like I said, I don't know if we'll be a contender for a conference championship or anything out of the gate. Hopefully we do. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I don't think we will. Just unrealistic, I think, to think that be attainable in year one. But I really did think that they were fun to watch offensively, and I haven't said that in a very long time. And that's no disrespect to we've had really talented players, but I mean, we've always been a primarily defensive team for the last at least decade and a half to 2 decades. John Beilein's team was the last time I can really say that I'm.
And that's what the style of play kind of reminds me of.
Absolutely, yeah, very much so. And it's really kind of ironic how it works out too, because you had John Beilein and Patrick Beilein. Now you've got Darren DeVries and Tucker DeVries.
That's true.
And the styles of plays are somewhat similar, really. So I don't know. Really excited to see what the future holds for the program.
I am too. I think the blueprints there, you just look, last year when you bring in Mark Kellogg there for the women's basketball team, and they go get to the tournament, make some noise there. And I think if you can replicate that on the men's side, and Darren DeVries can have a similar year one, you're looking really good, and with both sides then. Yeah,
I mean, and then I think that too would prove Ren Baker's higher ability.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, he's done a good job so far.
I hope that people would at least get off his back a little bit. I don't understand.
He doesn't deserve that at all.
He doesn't deserve the hate that he
awesome.
gets. This man, the poor guy, he's just in a position that, like, I get it. People are upset, but that's not the guy to attack.
No, definitely not, man. He's done a great job. And I think when, like I said, small sample size, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but even when you look at Darren DeVries, I think that's a great hire as well. I think it's going to prove to be this year, and hopefully, we see that here over the next few months as the basketball season progresses. But we'll talk about it more on live streams here throughout the remainder of football season. And then we'll try and do some live streams throughout basketball season once football season ends, even though we'll still be talking WVU football off-season topics. We'll still throw in some basketball talk on occasion when we can, because we're excited about the Darren DeVries era and seeing what this team can do this year. But just like we're excited about the game coming up Saturday, guys, and I super appreciate you guys coming here sharing your predictions. Like I said, if you haven't heard ours and you want to hear them, check the video out here on YouTube or listen on any podcast platform. Leave us a like on this video if you watched it. That really helps us a ton. And be sure to subscribe here for a ton of Mountaineer football content coming in the near future. According with the game coming Saturday, it will be our watch along. So that's kind of the next piece of content you can take in with us here is our watch along stream. We'll be live for the entire WVU football game on Saturday, right back here on YouTube. So hope you come tune in for that. And if you haven't already and you want to contribute more to the channel and you're someone that just can't get enough WVU football content, you can become a channel member here where you get access to player grades videos, snap counts, game rewatches, depth chart projections, and film reviews for each game as well. So definitely something to look into if you're looking for that little bonus. You can hit the join button down there by the video description to become a channel member here. But that'll wrap up this week's Game Week stream. We'll be back next week again to talk about the upcoming WVU football game. But if you want to join us before then, of course, we'll be live for the WVU football game on Saturday, and then we'll be back to recap the game in another podcast episode releasing early next week. But for my co-host Steven, as always, I'm Jordan Cruz, and until next time, let's go Mountaineers.